All right, what's up, y'all? You already know it's Jay Duzzo, Liberation Minded Media. In today's conversation, it's been a minute. I might do another live later or something like that. A lot of different things that I really do have to talk about. But today, what we're going to speak about is the apparent rift between foundational Black Americans and those from the continent or from the Caribbean or from South America, those other blacks that aren't traditionally what we would call FBA or ADOS. And do we really have a rift? Do we really have a beef? Do we have hatred or contempt for our people who have recently migrated from the Caribbean, South America, Africa, or whatnot? I'll explain what this picture is about in a minute. I'll get into that in a minute. But let me just say it like this. First and foremost, I think the whole world knows that Black people in America do not have a problem with Africans, Caribbeans, South American Blacks, nothing like that. We never have. We've never had a problem. Matter of fact, we've always looked at them and still do as our brothers. So what's happened is, from a political standpoint, over these years, we've started to understand and realize, we're pushing this Pan-African viewpoint. Shout out to Marcus Garvey. And we've always tried to buddy up and think that they would have the same interests as us. And what we realized is that a lot of people, not all, that come from the Caribbean, that come from straight from the continent, don't have the same goals, don't have the same love for us that we show to them. And a lot of times they're used politically against us. And to keep it a buck, a lot of times before they get here, they're already conditioned to look at us a certain way. And I know this to be fact because I have dated Nigerians. I have dated Caribbeans. I dated one sister who has a Caribbean heritage, whom she said her own mother never affiliated or never associated herself with being Black. She's as dark as me. She said only as an adult, only recently within the last few years, was she able to convey to her own mother that she was actually Black and not white. I know on the census, a lot of people from especially North and East Africa and the Caribbean identify as white. My point is, like, when we look at the dynamics, then we have to understand that a lot of these immigrants that happen to be Black are used against us. And a lot of them come here with a certain mind frame to begin with, to look at us a certain way. Even the Nigerian lady who I was dating, even though she didn't necessarily look at us a certain way, I know her parents did. And that is a heartbreaking thing. And it's also, from a political standpoint, something that we have to be able to protect ourselves and understand, like, hey, we have to tribe up. We have no choice. Because if other people are coming here and undermining us, like this whole reparations movement, and something that I spoke about years ago on my other channel before I got taken down. And, I showed, like, why is it that a lot of the people that happen to be from the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, whatever, are the ones that are in front of the Senate telling the world that we don't need reparations. And a lot of times we didn't understand that these people had roots, recent roots, that didn't go back to the plantations and our particular struggle. And a lot of times they do undermine us. I've been on jobs with people, immigrant Blacks, who looked at us, talked to us a certain kind of way, thought that they were better than us, would be quick to want to go to the boss man against us. And it's like, it's crazy, because if you think about it, for instance, if you come from Nigeria, Ghana, what else? Congo, any of the mineral rich places in Africa, and you're fleeing over here to improve your life condition, that's backwards. Because you're coming to the same people who were partly responsible for why you have to leave your own homeland, which is mineral rich. Why would you leave somewhere that's full of diamonds, gold, oil, coltan, copper? The land is minerally rich to grow food. Why would you think that you would come to America for a better living when the only thing that makes America ticks is the fact that they rob and pillaged resources from across the world? You're coming right to the source of your problems because you're not dealing with the problems in your own home. And in many cases, the problems in your own home is that there's puppets that are controlling the resources, keeping it for the very few, while allowing European countries or Western countries to plummet your homeland. So instead of dealing with that, you're coming here. And a lot of times the ones that they let here are those who they have vetted. Like I said, I've dated women from different parts of the world. And one thing that I know for a fact is the process of getting here includes being vetted to make sure that you are of the coon class. Like, they make sure that the vast majority that get here are coons. That's just a fact. They do that even for Asian nations. They make you go through Thailand. They make you go through different classes and different orientations that's geared to make you look at us a certain way, in part, and to determine just how much of a resistance you'll put up to the injustice of America. They do these kind of things. So a lot of times these people come from Nigeria over here and they come as Christians. The woman that I was dating was from Benin. She was from Benin, which is an ancient empire that's part of Nigeria, but that also kind of isn't. It's like known as the birthplace of voodoo and African spirituality, especially for the West Africa. But she came here as a Catholic. They're building white Jesuses. These Ethiopians come here hanging up white Jesuses in their car. So these Africans come here worshiping white people, so they see what we're going through and they don't identify with the struggle. They think they're different. They come here to prove to white people that they're indeed better than us and that they're willing to see us as less than them. And they come here basically to reinforce white supremacy more so than to fight it. So yes, when we see these dynamics unfolding, we have to make that distinction. Like, okay, if that's how you're going to get down, then we have to separate ourselves from you, because you don't mind usurping our culture. And that's what this picture is about. We see a brother from Africa mimicking all the tattoos of Tupac, shaving his head to look like Tupac. So on one hand, you don't mind using our music. Even the most popular music in Africa is music that mimics ours. It's not your traditional music. Let's keep it a buck. We set the trends. So you'll mimic our look, our style, which is basically cultural appropriation. You'll try to steal hip hop as if it was created in Jamaica or some shit. But at the same time, when it comes to these political fights, you're not fighting with us. You're fighting against us. And the contempt is becoming way too loud and obvious to ignore. So what do you think we're going to do over time? We're going to disassociate. We're going to separate ourselves from you and tell you that if you want to rock with us, you rock with us the way we say you rock with us. If you're on our side, if you're on our team, if it's really all in together now, understand that you can't come here and dictate how we move in politics, because we're the ones that's been fighting this beast. We know the system here. We know how to fight it better than someone from the outside. Even if you are sincere about helping, then you have to help and not try to think that you're going to be the spokesperson for us or undermine us in front of them. Because when it comes down to it, they don't give a fuck about you. Botham Jean was from the Caribbean. A lady walked in, shot him up in his own house. Whether she knew he was Caribbean or not, she knew his skin was black. And what the first thing that they did is forgave and loved on this bitch. So you think that we're going to allow you to speak for us when it comes to injustice? Hell no. That would be suicide. And I know this doesn't apply to all. And I would like to say it's a generational thing because, you know, I've met like young Ethiopians, and you look on my Facebook, I've had conversations with them, and they said it's their parents, this and that, and he understood what it was, blah blah. But I'm just saying, most of the case, that's not the case. It's not every one of them, but the ones that it is are the ones that need to be called out. The same way we call out our own race traitors, we're calling out anyone, no matter what they look like, if they ain't here on the same agenda. Because the fact is, if we are successful, or when we are successful in all of our fights, it benefits all black people globally, which is why you're able to be here in the first place. So as we fight for reparations and justice, it helps you too. So you're fighting against yourself when you're fighting against us, and you can't win fighting against us. We know who we are. We know we set the trends. We know whatever we put our mind to, we dominate and excel, and we know that it's our time to be restored to our rightful place. Let's not get it twisted. Like a lot of the things that are being taught, that's upholding our culture, or even your culture, we're the ones that's teaching and holding on to that and pushing that forward. It was Tariq Nasheed who made the movie about Haiti and the Haitian Revolution. Wasn't y'all? It wasn't y'all in Haiti? It's us that revived ancient Kemet, ancient Mali Empire, Ghana Empire, the Shaka Zulus or whatnot. It was us that put that back on the map. Because most of y'all come here with too much adoration towards our enemies and picking up their culture, picking up their gods, which by default puts you at odds with us. Because if your God is a stringy-haired white dude and you're rejecting your own ancient ancestors and gods, by default, you're going against the grain. You're going against yourself and us to uphold them. And their time is over. It's our time now. And we will lead this movement. You fall in line is what you do. Don't mimic our culture, our rap music, our dress, our swag, and then try to tell us we don't have a culture, and try to tell us how great your culture and everything that you stand for is, because you're not there. You're not there reinforcing your culture. You came over here. You on your own came over here only because we paved the way. Now, some of us was already over here hundreds of years ago, even thousands of years ago. Some of us came on our own migrating thousands of years ago, but a lot of us also got caught up in conflicts in Africa because some of y'all, because of tribal differences, teamed up with Arabs and Europeans to capture some of our ancestors. They trade us here, and you're using that same mentality of selfishness now while you're here. And that tribalism hasn't worked for y'all. See, the tribalism that we're enforcing is just so it's set clear who we are, the distinction, only because we have to, because we tried to have this global, inclusive, all black people are all in this together. It didn't work because y'all didn't want to be part of that. You wanted to specifically let it be known you're Jamaican, you're Haitian, you're Nigerian. No, you're not black like us. I'm from Belize. I'm from Trinidad. I'm Puerto Rican. And you didn't really want to, for the most part. See, there was a time when we were all in together. But for the past 40, 50 years, you guys wanted to separate yourself from anything unless you were taking something good. Then you wanted to claim it with us, but when it was something bad, you didn't want to. So it's not that FBA, Foundational Black Americans, New Africans, whatever you want to call it. It's not that black people with roots in America have a hatred. It's just we understand for our own survival and for our own progress that we have to separate from the class of immigrants who come here to reinforce white supremacy rather than fight it. That's what it is. Liberation Minded Media, B1 FBA, B1 FBA. Peace.